Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. And today I am going to be taking a look at a brand new 2026 release from an incredible band from Argentina. And this is their self-titled debut album, which is available as a digital release on Bandcamp. And this album is simply called Musaiko. So, Musaiko is a jazz fusion Argentinian trio comprised of Aaron Dafunchio on piano and keyboards, Augusto Tempesta on bass, and Ezequiel Zimñiak on drums. And I've listened to this album quite a number of times now, and I was absolutely blown away, not only by the production, but the musicianship, the playing, the execution of the compositions. These guys sound incredibly tight as a band, and they are showcased to the fullest. All three members are on top form and give each other lots of space to solo and improvise. And listening to the music of Musaiko, I can hear lots of influences of Weather Report, early Chick Corea Elektric Band, you name it. I can hear all sorts of different influences ranging from the 70s and the 80s. And some of the music does have that 80s fusion style of music, which isn't a bad thing. You know, you can clearly hear that these guys are heavily influenced by some of the great bands of the 70s and especially the 80s. But what Musaiko do is they don't try to copy and emulate those bands. What they do is they take those influences and apply it to their music and come up with something that's completely fresh and original, which is very much their own unique voice. So, Musaiko was formed in 2025, and so far they have only one album. And I'm pretty sure with an album as good as this, hopefully we'll get to see a lot more from these guys in the coming months. They're not really a well-known band, but I like to think that over the coming months, more people will start to know who these guys are because as far as trio albums are concerned, this is, for my money, one of the absolute best I've had the great pleasure of hearing in quite a while. It's very fresh, it's very adventurous, the music is very complex, as you'd expect, but above all else, it's very enjoyable. I love trio albums, especially in this configuration, keyboards, bass, and drums. It never gets old. And when you've got three musicians as talented as these guys, you know it's going to be good. And as I said, I was very impressed by, the production and the musicianship of these guys. This band has been together for probably about a year now, but they sound like they've been playing for 10 years, which is a real testament to their skills. So this is a true band effort. So most of the compositions are all written and composed, mainly by Ezequiel Zimñiak, who you could say is kind of like the de facto leader of the band. But it's not a case of it's just one guy. All three musicians co-compose most of the material. So it really feels like a true band effort. So we've got 9 tracks. So we've got the opener track, which is Musaiko, which is just like 2 minutes. So it's kind of like a little short opener. And then it goes straight into Connections, which is absolutely fantastic. And then we got Wandering Children, which is absolutely brilliant. And then we got Two Avenues, which is excellent. Sangyuchek is brilliant. And we got Kabadzizia di Buddha, which is absolutely brilliant. It's one of my favorite tracks from this album. Paolo Boroccio, which is excellent. Mist in the Dark Sky, which is brilliant. And we got the closer, Los Adios, which is absolutely amazing. Top to bottom, Musaiko is a very strong album, excellent songs, no weak tracks whatsoever. And a lot of it, as I mentioned before, I can hear lots of like early Electric Band, when the Electric Band were a trio. So, the bass playing reminds me a lot of John Patitucci when he was starting out. The drumming is very reminiscent of a young Dave Weckl. And the keyboards, I hear a lot of like Fender Rhodes style of playing, which harkens back to Chick Corea. So I'm definitely hearing lots of influences of the early incarnation of the Chick Corea Electric Band. But a very enjoyable album and definitely one of the standouts for 2026, in my opinion. And fingers crossed, hopefully, we'll get a follow up because music as good as this, I think, deserves so much more exposure and so much more love. And hopefully, we'll see more from these guys in the near future. So, the standout tracks for me are Connections, Wandering Children, Cabazia du Buddha, and Mist in the Dark Sky, and Los Adioses. But as I said, from top to bottom, this album is absolutely fantastic. Really enjoyed this one a lot, and definitely one of the highlights of 2026 for me. A very strong album, top to bottom. No weak track whatsoever. Really love this album a lot. Tremendous stuff. And wow, just a dynamite album. Just absolutely fantastic. If you like early Chick Corea Electric Band, if you like Weather Reports or any of those kind of bands, then I highly recommend you check this band out. And I'll leave the link at the bottom so you guys can check it out on Bandcamp. But this is definitely an album worth checking out, in my opinion. Absolutely love it. So there you have it. Musaiko's self-titled debut album, and definitely one of the standouts of 2026. Tremendous stuff. Absolutely love this one. So that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What's your thoughts on Musaiko? Did you enjoy it? What's your favorite track from Musaiko? Is it Musgo, Connections, Wandering Children, Two Avenues, Sangyuchek, Kabadzizia di Buddha, Paolo Boroccio, Mist in the Dark Sky, or Los Adiosos? Or did you enjoy the entire album from start to finish? There's no right or wrong answer. We all have our favorite tracks. You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below. And I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. So until next time, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.